Hello, I'm Eric Bredon. Today we talk about the young and the restless. This article will reveal intriguing new developments surrounding the young and the restless and the layers of betrayal, power and moral reckoning unfolding in Genoa City promise to shift the balance between the Newman and Abbott dynasties in ways that may be irreversible. For decades, Victor Newman has been a man who destroys without blinking and rebuilds without apology, a titan who believes that if he crushes enough obstacles along the way, he is justified in reclaiming whatever he believes belongs to him. He wants back what he built, what he molded, what he considers rightfully his, even if reclaiming it means burning everything else to the ground first. But this time may be different. This time, the cost may not be measured in corporate shares or hostile takeovers. This time, it may cost him his son, because Adam Newman is about to hear something that will shake the fragile foundation of his loyalty. Hidden in the shadows of Newman Enterprises, Adam overhears Victor telling Billy Abbott that Jack Abbott is being held, not missing, not lost, but deliberately kept under Victor's control. The words land like a slow detonation in Adam's chest. For a moment, the air leaves the room. Jack Abbott is not simply entangled in another corporate maneuver. He is imprisoned, and Victor is responsible. Adam confronts his father almost immediately, his voice sharp with disbelief and restrained fury. But Victor, master of manipulation, offers nothing but cold deflection, no confirmation, no denial. Just that familiar, icy stare that has kept empires intact and sons in line. Victor refuses to give Adam any real information, reinforcing the hierarchy that has defined their relationship since childhood. Victor commands, Adam obeys. Yet something has shifted. Adam is no longer the reckless outsider desperate to claw his way back into the Newman circle. He has matured, or at least the audience has watched him try. Viewers have embraced his evolution, seeing glimpses of empathy beneath his ambition. But that evolution has come at a price. In striving to be accepted, Adam has softened himself into compliance. He has traded rebellion for approval. He has become, in many ways, exactly what Victor needs him to be: loyal, efficient, unquestioning. And now he stands at a crossroads. Does he truly want to do the right thing and help Jack? Or does he prefer the safety of being his father's right hand, even when that hand is stained with moral compromise? Meanwhile, the Abbott family spirals into chaos. With Billy lacking control of Chancellor and no leverage to counter Victor's aggression, the Abbotts are left exposed and frantic. Diane's anxiety grows by the hour. Kyle struggles to remain composed for the sake of stability. And the Abbott mansion, once a symbol of resilience, begins to feel like a house holding its breath. They know Victor is capable of anything, but the idea that he would physically detain Jack crosses into territory even they hesitated to imagine. Billy carries a crushing weight of guilt. If he had maintained power, if he had anticipated Victor's retaliation more carefully, perhaps Jack would not be missing. The search intensifies, but every lead feels hollow, every effort incomplete. And somewhere far from Genoa City, Jack awakens to the sound of waves striking steel. He is not in a warehouse, not in a corporate safe house, but on a yacht in the middle of open water. The room is private, almost luxurious, but the door is locked. The elegance only heightens the violation. This is not about survival. It is about control. Victor does not need Jack harmed. He needs him removed, isolated, destabilized. Jack tests the door, studies the room, measures the seconds between footsteps in the corridor. Whoever is assisting Victor remains unseen, but someone is there, someone loyal enough or indebted enough to carry out this plan without hesitation. Jack's mind, sharpened by decades of rivalry, begins constructing possibilities. Is this revenge, a strategic delay, or something more personal? He knows Victor well enough to understand that nothing is done without layered intention. Back in Genoa City, Adam wrestles with the echo of his own words. He had claimed he would not support destructive behavior. He had implied that he was not the man he used to be. But when Victor begins pursuing the abbots more aggressively, tightening financial screws and applying pressure in subtle but devastating ways, Adam does nothing. He stands beside his father in meetings, offers strategic input, and remains silent about Jack's imprisonment. The conflict inside him grows louder. On one side is the familiar hunger for Victor's approval, that deeply rooted need to be seen as worthy. On the other is the awareness that aiding Victor now means actively participating in something far darker than corporate warfare. This is not just business. This is abduction. And Adam knows it. The question becomes whether growth is proven through words or through sacrifice. Because if Adam truly wants to step out of Victor's shadow, he may have to defy him in a way that cannot be undone. He may have to choose Jack Abbott over Victor Newman. And that choice would not just alter one rivalry, it would redefine Adam's entire identity. Is he changing his mind, or is he simply recalibrating how best to serve his father while convincing himself he is morally intact? The tragedy of Adam has always been his duality. He understands right from wrong, yet he rationalizes loyalty as necessity. He tells himself that timing matters, that revealing Victor's actions prematurely could cause greater damage. But deep down he knows the truth. Inaction is complicity. The sea continues to roll beneath Jack's prison, the horizon endless and indifferent. He refuses to surrender to helplessness. If Victor believes isolation will weaken him, he underestimates the resilience forged through decades of rivalry. Jack begins observing patterns, searching for cracks in the operation. Whoever is helping Victor may not share the same iron resolve. Fear, greed, doubt, these are leverage points. Jack has survived corporate sabotage, personal betrayals, and psychological warfare. He will not let this be the chapter that defines his defeat. And yet time is Victor's greatest weapon. Every hour Jack remains missing increases pressure on the abbots, destabilizes markets, and allows Victor to consolidate power. It is a masterstroke of strategy wrapped in personal vendetta. The longer this continues, the harder it becomes for Adam to pretend ignorance. The audience has watched Adam evolve, but evolution without courage is only adaptation. He may claim he wants to build rather than destroy, but when faced with a defining moment, will he act or will he remain the obedient son standing silently while Victor tightens his grip on an old enemy? This storyline does not simply test corporate alliances. It tests moral fiber. Adam has the opportunity to break a generational cycle of manipulation and dominance. He could become the bridge between two dynasties rather than the weapon that wounds them further. But stepping away from Victor's influence would mean stepping into uncertainty, and uncertainty has always terrified him more than condemnation. As Genoa City edges closer to discovering the truth, tension mounts on every front. Billy grows more reckless, determined to expose Victor even without evidence. Diane's composure begins to fracture. Kyle contemplates actions that could escalate the feud beyond repair, and Adam stands in the center of it all, holding knowledge that could shatter the balance instantly. The irony is suffocating. For years, Adam fought to be included in Victor's inner circle. Now that he stands there, he may realize the cost is higher than he imagined. Being trusted by Victor often means sharing his sins. And if Adam remains silent, history will remember him not as the son who matured, but as the son who complied. The Young and the Restless thrives on moral ambiguity, on characters who blur the line between hero and villain. This arc offers Adam a chance to define himself outside of that blur. The question lingering over Genoa City is not whether Victor will win another battle. He often does. The question is whether Adam will finally choose to lose his father's approval in order to save his own conscience. If he does, it could mark the beginning of a new era. If he does not, then the growth fans have celebrated may prove to be nothing more than a carefully constructed illusion. Now, Adam Newman has been handed yet another opportunity to prove who he truly is, and this time the stakes are far higher than corporate rivalry or family pride. This time a man's life may be hanging in the balance. Jack Abbott is no longer merely missing. He is trapped somewhere far away from Genoa City, isolated and vulnerable, while the man responsible for his disappearance continues to move pieces across the chessboard as if nothing unusual has happened. Victor Newman has always believed that the end justifies the means, and history has shown that he rarely hesitates when pursuing what he considers his rightful legacy. But this situation may push his ruthless philosophy into darker territory than ever before.
Jack's life could very well be at risk, and the ripple effects of Victor's actions may soon extend beyond the Abbott family. Nikki Newman could become another victim if she uncovers the truth about what Victor has done.
Nikki has spent years balancing her loyalty to her husband with her sense of morality, and if she were to discover that Victor had crossed the line from corporate warfare into outright imprisonment, the consequences could shatter the fragile stability of their marriage. Victor has always counted on the silence and complicity of those closest to him, but silence becomes far more dangerous when the stakes involve a man's survival. The only problem, of course, is that many people around Victor enjoy the life he provides. They enjoy the security, the wealth, the prestige, and most importantly, the approval that comes from standing at his side. That approval is a powerful currency in the Newman world, and it has kept many people from questioning Victor's actions, even when those actions spiral into morally grey territory. If there is anyone capable of stopping Victor before things go too far, that person may very well be Adam. For years, Adam has existed in a complicated orbit around his father, sometimes rebelling against him, sometimes fighting desperately for his acceptance. Recently, it seemed as though Adam had begun to grow, as if he had started recognizing that loyalty to Victor does not always equal doing the right thing. Fans of the show have embraced that evolution, watching Adam struggle with the consequences of his past while trying to prove he can become something more than the ruthless strategist he once was. But growth is meaningless without action, and this new crisis may become the ultimate test of Adam's character. Will he finally step forward and challenge Victor in order to save Jack? Will he risk losing his father's approval in order to do what he knows is morally right? Or will he once again retreat into the familiar comfort of obedience, convincing himself that Victor's plans are too complicated to interfere with? The possibility that Adam could intervene is tantalizing because it carries the potential for redemption. Imagine the impact if Adam were the one to uncover Jack's location, rescue him, and bring him back to Genoa City alive. Such an act could force Jack to reconsider his long-held hatred for Adam, opening the door for a fragile and unexpected reconciliation between two men who have spent years on opposite sides of the Newman-Abbott war. At the same time, that choice would ignite a massive conflict between Adam and Victor, one that could permanently alter their relationship. Victor has always demanded absolute loyalty from his children, and betrayal is something he rarely forgives. Adam would not simply be rescuing Jack. He would be declaring independence from his father's shadow.
While Adam wrestles with his conscience, the Abbott family continues to spiral into panic. At the Abbott mansion, the atmosphere is thick with anxiety as each passing hour deepens their fear that Jack may never return.
Diane struggles to maintain composure but cannot hide the growing dread in her eyes. Kyle attempts to remain calm for the sake of the family, yet even he cannot suppress the terrifying thought that Victor may have gone too far this time. Billy carries a particularly heavy burden of guilt, knowing that his own conflict with Victor may have triggered this latest escalation. The Abbotts are accustomed to Victor's schemes, but kidnapping Jack and hiding him away crosses a line that even their long history of rivalry cannot prepare them for. Without solid leads or evidence, they feel powerless, trapped in a waiting game that grows more unbearable with every passing moment. The uncertainty eats away at them. Is Jack still alive? Is he injured? Is Victor planning something even more sinister? Meanwhile, far away from Genoa City, Jack slowly regains consciousness aboard a boat drifting across the open sea. The faint sound of waves crashing against the hull echoes through the small room where he finds himself confined. The space is clean but cold, designed not for comfort but for containment. The door is locked from the outside, and the small window reveals nothing but endless water stretching toward the horizon. Jack quickly realizes he has been placed in a carefully controlled prison, one where escape will require patience, intelligence, and perhaps a bit of luck. As Jack begins assessing his situation, speculation about his fate begins swirling back in Genoa City. Some believe he will eventually be rescued, perhaps by Adam or another unlikely ally. Others fear the storyline could take a darker turn. One possibility is that Jack might escape the boat only to end up stranded somewhere even more dangerous, perhaps on a remote island where survival becomes a daily struggle.
The idea may sound dramatic, but The Young and the Restless has often drawn inspiration from classic soap opera tropes, and the writers appear eager to revive some of the bold storytelling from earlier decades.
Another possibility is even more shocking. The boat could sink during a storm or an accident, leaving the world to believe that Jack Abbott has died. Imagine the emotional devastation such a twist would unleash in Genoa City. The Abbott family would be forced to mourn a man they believe lost forever, while Victor might initially celebrate the removal of his greatest rival. Victor could reclaim control over business battles that Jack once stood in the way of, potentially allowing him to regain influence over companies and power structures that had previously slipped from his grasp. For a brief moment, Victor might believe he has finally won. But soap opera history teaches us that victory built on deception rarely lasts. Secrets have a way of resurfacing, and if Jack were to survive somewhere unknown to the world, the eventual revelation of that truth could destroy Victor's reputation and devastate the Newman family from within. There is also the intriguing possibility that Jack's ordeal could lead to unexpected consequences beyond physical survival. Isolation, trauma, and desperation can alter a person in profound ways. If Jack were to escape but suffer from memory loss, he could return to Genoa City as a completely different man, forcing the Abbott family to confront a new and unpredictable reality. The idea of Jack losing his memory may sound extreme, yet it would create enormous emotional tension and open the door to new alliances and rivalries. Without his memories of Victor, Jack might temporarily abandon his lifelong feud, leaving both families uncertain about how to navigate a future without the rivalry that has defined them for decades. Whether the writers choose a rescue, a disappearance, or a psychological transformation, the storyline surrounding Jack's fate is clearly building towards something dramatic.
Victor's decision to remove Jack from the board may have seemed like a brilliant strategic move, but it has created a chain reaction that threatens to spiral beyond his control.
And at the center of that chain reaction stands Adam Newman, a man torn between the comfort of loyalty and the burden of conscience. The coming episodes promise to test every character involved in this unfolding drama. Victor will continue believing that he can manipulate events to his advantage, confident that his reputation and influence will protect him from consequences. The Abbott family will keep searching desperately for Jack, refusing to accept that he may be gone forever. Nikki may begin sensing that something is terribly wrong, and if she starts uncovering the truth behind Victor's actions, the emotional fallout within the Newman household could be catastrophic. But perhaps the most important question remains centered on Adam. He has been given a chance to prove that his growth is real, that he is capable of choosing morality over ambition. If he intervenes, he could save Jack's life and reshape the future of both families. If he does nothing, he will once again confirm the darkest suspicions about him, that when faced with a moral crossroads, he will always choose Victor's approval over doing what is right. In the unpredictable world of Genoa City, one decision can change everything.
And right now, the future of Jack Abbott, the stability of the Newman family, and Adam's own redemption may all depend on whether he finally finds the courage to stand against the most powerful man in his life.
So, what do you think will happen to Jack Abbott? Will he escape from the mysterious boat and find his way back to Genoa City, or will Victor's plan push him toward an even more dangerous fate? Share your thoughts and theories about Jack's future, because the next twist in this story could change everything.